Not you.
And say, maybe we can, skip down to some things. I,
You're gonna do a closed session first, right? For him?
yes.
Okay.
But here's my dilemma. I believe that, after talking to Rob, that we might have a visitor from the school district that shows up. So if we go into executive session first, I'm not sure how they would know that coming in, so.
Okay.
I didn't know if we talked about maybe the pedestrian phase study, and give them a chance before we say executive session. Would that be okay?
Yep.
So there, I just threw a curveball to you.
Yep.
And Rob too.
So, do you want me to give a little bit of a summary, or Rob, do you want to?
I'll summarize and you can talk about your proposal.
Sure.
How's that? So the pedestrian phase study has to do with remember we had, I think Dave had reached out originally to the school district, or to at least to Trace, and then Trace went down and met with Dr. Beatty about the places in town where the school kids cross. We talked about that, and I think you guys decided that looking at doing an all-stop, I'm gonna call it, pedestrian crossing at Sheets. And it's just always not that simple, because PennDOT being a State Route 45, they have to approve anything we do, both with our timing and permits for our signalization of the signals at the intersections.
So that's the phase part, we're talking about phasing of the traffic signal.
Correct.
Okay, I have no idea what that.
So, you had asked me about moving forward with that, so the next step is getting a proposal from our engineer to do that traffic study, as PennDOT calls it, to authorize that, because the work that our engineer has to prove that we can do it, and it's safe, and it's the right intersection, all that good stuff. And maybe Dave has some more
I didn't know
traffic
that. I didn't
lingo.
know
I know
all
it's
that
traffic's not his area of expertise, but
I didn't know all that was involved, because we had a guy who used to be on council, he said, oh, everyone, I'll go take care of that, I'll change that. He would just go down and change stuff in the box.
so, yeah, you just can't, and the last time we done anything with the signalization intersections, they did put their account down in the way of just one east to west crossings and north-south crossings, so they're not all stop or all phase or all, there's another term for it, I can't think of it, it's all red, no, not all red, it's not right. But it stops pedestrians in all directions.
Right.
But right now it is not, what's that?
The all-red pedestrian phase?
Yes.
Yeah.
So right now, it only, like I said, stops traffic going east and west or north and south for people to cross in just one direction. So this is allowing us to move forward with that effort at the Sheets intersection. And then, from my understanding and my conversation with PennDOT, when I talked to them, because I also said you guys are interested in doing the Piano Key crosswalks at a couple locations that we discussed, and we still have to get that approved from them as well, but it's not part of this.
Right.
This is just probably meeting with their traffic people and going over that, and there's certain standards we
Signal
adhere.
people.
Signal people.
Now, what, do they do a study to count how many kids cross?
They have to do a count study. I don't know if they'll look at pedestrians, I would think so. They'll also look at all the cars, as far as, did the car that was traveling west go straight through, or did it make a right turn, did it make a left turn? And
Okay.
they sit there and they basically, that's what they do, they count. Sometimes they put counters out, I don't know what, if you guys are planning on mainly doing
I don't
both,
think so.
or
I
doing
think
manual counts in.
Yeah, what we'd be talking about doing is going out there on a clear day, on a normal weekday, while school is in session, so we're not gonna be able to do it until school starts back up again. And basically sit there and observe typical school peak traffic operations, so count the number of turns that are made into the different intersections into Sheets and the other side of the road, and then also count pedestrians for a number of hours. And that builds into a study. We're gonna use a capacity analysis as a software. I am not the traffic person. This is a different group in my company that does all this stuff. So I'm definitely relying on their expertise, but they do that type of study very frequently. And we probably have someone from our office go out and actually conduct the study itself, and then send the data to someone in our Harrisburg office who does the actual preparation of the report and stuff. And then really coordinate permit plan for the intersection. And so that's another secondary effort, which is basically updating the plan and getting the permit approved from NDOT. So that
Can you-
is the two different phases that we have for the all red pedestrian phase study. Lots of work.
Can you set expectations for us? If we say yes, I'm guessing there's going to be a cost associated with it, and then a cost for the second phase.
Yeah.
How much and how long?
Yeah, so the first phase, which is the counts and the analysis, we have a lump sum of 6,900, and the second phase, which is updating the signal plans and getting that permit updated, is 4,500.
Okay, so like 11 grand and
Yep.
6 to 9 months, a year.
We have the completion within 3 months, but obviously we need to make sure school is in session before we can start the study. So it's
Okay.
3 months of school starting.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
So
I
my
believe I
question
sent that out
is,
to everyone
when is
this
Sheets
week, the
closing
email.
down?
I'm sorry, Mark was talking with.
When
That's
is
the
Sheets
point.
closing down?
September, isn't it?
So we wouldn't have the data because kids aren't gonna be crossing because there's not gonna be a Sheets.
You still have kids crossing, but it's gonna be
Well-
skewed. It's gonna be
Not
skewed.
near as heavy as it is when they're.
Is there gonna be time where school started up? It's like at the end of August that school starts, right? We have it. It's
Yeah, it's like
March
the
25th.
25th or something. Mara should know.
25th.
25th?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have the actual start of construction date,
Okay, well, they might shut down a couple days before and stuff, so we'll have.
but I have that. I think, I'm pretty sure they've already, because they invited me to come to their kickoff meeting.
Okay,
Yeah, so I have that.
yeah, so if there's a couple days in there, we can make that work.
So I'm wondering if, when you do this, then do you just maintain that through the entire year or only during the school year? So you don't wanna create an expectation of this happening and then the kids that might be crossing the rest of the year, for whatever reason, not during the school year, expect it.
Like soccer and stuff, because they have soccer
Yeah.
up there and the.
So I would think you would just do this all the time, whether school's in or
You
not.
talking about the all red?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that would
It'd
be,
be
it'd be
Right.
permanent,
Yeah.
yeah. Somebody pushes the button, it'll count down to a certain time to trip the signal. Once it trips the signal, then it's all red in all directions.
okay.
Yeah, that's not, that'd be really a pain in the butt to go out. It's reprogram it to change it. It's,
Any other questions about that? Alright, so Bev, your call, what we do next, if we just go down the agenda, or if we go into executive session now, cover the things, and then maybe Dave can leave.
That's fine. I mean, if they come, we'll just tell them we're in executive session. If they could just wait outside.
Alright. Are we good for that then?
Executive session. Okay.
Okay. Project maybe? So Rob, do you wanna,
so the H2O project, the water line for the project from Old Orchard Hill, has been built and installed completely to the reservoir. So they started on the, Quarry Road side on the west side, and built it up and over the hill towards 4th Street, 304, however you want to word it. And they are at the fence now. They tested it today and it passed.
Oh, I did not do that.
Yep. So the pressure test was good.
They had the tie over on tie over number 3 was all good, no issues with that.
However,
To
no-
fill the line, all that.
Yes, no issues whatsoever. I would say that part of the project went good. Probably the biggest thing that maybe some of you heard, I know Dave's got some people are inquiring. We had some issues with the VWAs, as you know, when we go to tie-in waters, which is a little water advisories. So we had to shut the water off to make the tie-in, cut the pipe. And we used the rave system, our automated system, and we had some folks claim they didn't get the notification, and we did some investigation on that. We did have some people that didn't have water yesterday that were not supposed to. So Jason and I late today went up and looked around. We're not sure exactly yet what happened is. We're hoping that there was a valve closed that was closed some time ago that no one remembered that they had closed it. So if that's the case, that's an easy problem to fix, and we'll reopen the valve. So in other words, when they did the shutdown yesterday there at the tank, so they might have had a valve shut already that they'd forgotten that they could have open. So the full part of Old Orchard had no water, rather than only half the block was not supposed to have water. So we took that notices up today and hand posted the ones that didn't get the notices
They had it
yesterday.
before because it was looped back.
They were supposed to have the section, yes, Buggy Lane and the 400 block were supposed to have water, all the way to Alan Elliott's. Do you guys know where Alan? But I talked to him today personally. I called him and he told me he had no water yesterday. We talked to your brother-in-law, Bobby, and he did not have water. So that led us to, hey, there was something that happened up here. So anyway, just letting you know we had some issues with that. We're looking into that, and I'll have an answer tomorrow. If it's not the valve, then we got a bigger problem we gotta look into, Dave, because they
Yeah,
built
I'm
a
trying
new
to
water
figure out what
line.
valve that could be.
So I think the valve, because I said to Jason, the only way if you shut this down, which we can talk about later, would have been the valve had to be closed inside the fence.
Yeah, like on the north side towards Buggy Lane.
Yes, the valve inside the fence at the corner of the fence had to be
Well,
closed.
then that's crazy, if that's the case, because that means your entire system's being fed on the 4-inch.
So if that's not the case, and they didn't make that mistake from months ago, because sometimes ahead of a game, it don't matter if you close one valve and you kind of do that, so if there's a major emergency, you don't be scrambling turning 6 valves. But we'll know tomorrow, but if not, then we got some investigation work to do. We've got to do some test things and figure out where something might be looped that we not aware of.
Yeah, then the mapping's wrong.
Yeah, exactly, like it was there at the school.
Right.
So that was H2O. We will have a pay app. Did we get a draft of that one? I think we did, right?
Yep,
I
I
remember
reviewed it,
Andy.
got back to Andy. Basically, we were just waiting for the passing of the test because they asked for 100% payment, which is fine as long as the test passes, which it did, so.
So we'll have
Yeah.
that for council meeting for your approval. There. Do you want me to keep rolling in these?
I jumped down to ADA corners and then Dave can run.
Okay. The ADA corners, we're working with a new contractor here. I've never worked with them, the borough never has, but so far the concrete work I think has been done. That has been done is good. I haven't seen any issues. I know Bev and the mayor have sent some questions yesterday, concerns about the sidewalk not being wide enough, and I had to go out and measure it, and
No, I didn't think, I was just.
she did.
Well, yeah, I don't know what she was thinking. I meant the part where there was no reveal, was only like this wide. I didn't know they were bringing the macadam back up.
Yes, so, no offense to the mayor and Bev, they kind of jumped the gun a little bit because they're not done. Because when they bring in, they do a little milling around the curb, and rather than just bring in for 2 corners, they bring in a whole truckload, a ton or 2 ton, whatever it's gonna take, and they do it all at once. So we know there's some corners that look like, oh geez, how's a wheelchair gonna get over the curb? Well, that's gonna be adjusted and fixed. And then probably at some point, Dave, as in Mr. Mayor, I can explain to you, looking at PennDOT specs, as to how those domes,
They're stupid.
Oh, the
They
Yeah,
are,
trucking,
they are
the
stupid,
Lego strips.
100%.
they look like they shouldn't be that way, but they're totally legit.
Yeah, I know.
What is that?
There's more than one way.
The bumpies where you get to the corners where
Yeah.
they're called truncated domes. So the blind
There's-
people, when they come to the corner, it kind of helps them to align so they know where to cross the street.
They're
Some of them
back
are not right at the corner because they're not allowed to be. They're back 5 feet from the intersection,
Yeah.
but that's legal.
Yeah.
But
Some of the old
some
ones are
of
like-
the old ones, they allowed them to cut the domes, which
Yeah.
I don't understand how that meets, but I'll pick another discussion another day. We can sit here and talk about that stuff for an hour, but
Okay.
they've been doing good work. We had one homeowner that kind of gave us some issues that I can't remember the address. It's the guy that lives on the corner of 3rd and Chestnut, where the old insurance agency used to be. Erie was in there at one point in time. His sidewalk was in really bad shape there next to his garage there at the alley. Well, he come down and claimed that the contractor broke the sidewalk. Well, I forgot, we were talking about it, and I normally the contractor's supposed to take pictures of it before they do the work, but our design plans have pictures on them. So I said, hang on, I'll go out and get the plans. So I unrolled it,
Oh.
and the the pictures show that there's major cracks in the sidewalk, and I knew that, but I didn't have proof, didn't think of it until he came in here and we looked at it, and he still wasn't happy because didn't he talk to
He
you?
didn't ask for a call back, but I looked at the walk and thought, that's been like that for 50 years.
Yes, it's he was looking for us to do a little bit more work on his, on our dime for him. So, but
I mean, I had nice things to say to the contractor.
and then he called the contractor an a-hole. So,
So that was good for Dave, then we'll get
They're
back to the
also
top of the
submitting an
agenda.
application for payment that will be for the regular
Yes.
borough council meeting. I had to go back and forth with the contractor a little bit on the quantities. He didn't understand how we had our unit prices. And he was requesting 100% payment for the stuff, even though it's not done yet. We didn't do the final walkthrough. We don't have the PennDOT form. I'm going to have to follow up with him again. He reached out to me, he said, I never had to fill out this form before. So I'm gonna have to explain that, but
we'll have to talk about that tomorrow because in my experience, the engineer has always done that.
yeah, so we have it in the contract that they do it as well. So we can touch base on that, but that's something that we can't pay them 100% for the quantities until we do the walkthrough anyway. So he understood that. We provided the revised application permit, and we'll get that to you for the engineer recommended version.
Any other questions for Dave?
You're like, what, halfway done, Rob? Something like that?
Oh, they're probably 3/4 of the way done
At this point, the pay app was about half, but that was through the end of last month, so,
because they're going to be doing some extra work for us next week.
over at by the rail. That's good.
Any updates on either the water resource plan Linda asked about a couple weeks ago and you weren't here, I think, or the capital improvement plan, those long-term
So,
projects?
The water resource plan, we have been working through drafting. I have to, the gentleman that's been working on it was out this week. I'm gonna follow up with him next week on that and keep that rolling. We have until October to get that submitted to that SRBC,
Yeah.
but I know we gotta get it
Okay.
drafted and over to you for review. And I don't have an update on the capital improvement plan.
I can provide a little bit of an update. It's been a struggle, but I've gotten most of the information to them that
Okay.
they asked for. I think that we still owe them the priority list from Rob, unless you've provided that.
I don't think so. I think
Yeah,
I
there's,
still
we were supposed to give them a list of priority projects.
Okay.
And they also want, and this is, I'm struggling a little bit with how to approach it, they also wanna know what we have in reserves. And I'm okay with telling them that, but I'm not sure we're gonna have it in reserves once we agree to some of these things.
Yeah, tell them 0.
Yeah.
I would say tell them 0 and tell them we have an electric business that maybe will consider providing us with some good cross subsidy debt. Like I'd never thought of that before. I think that's a good idea, but I think you should tell them 0, because in the sewer business, by the end of Q1 next year, if we do all this stuff, it's going to be 0.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, so that was kind of what I was struggling with. I didn't really know how to provide that because
yeah,
we're gonna spend a lot.
yeah, a bunch
That's
of
why
stuff.
we're doing another camera work to try and figure out what areas are.
Okay.
Unless we just have in there those projects that we know the dollar amounts for that will be expended, like the membrane project.
Yeah.
1.5 million, and put in the amount they have saved up for that, and that's like self-funded in part or something like
Yeah.
that.
Dave, are you guys helping? My understanding of that phase 1 is that HRG is working with the borough to come up with that project list. If the borough senior staff is having to do a lot of the work, I guess my question is the ask on the borough to give you like areas of the borough, and then you guys are thinking about like ballpark pricing? Is that the
So-
split?
Yes, the priority project list thing, that was something like basically in Rob's, like, I guess, mind, or I don't know if he has it written down anywhere. He's had a few things that he knew were gonna be
Okay.
on the radar
Okay.
for the next couple of years. I don't think it's a large list of projects, but it's just like, what does the borough know right now?
Okay.
Like, I've been working with Rob to scope out some of this stuff, so I have a general idea, but we're looking for like kind of just what the borough is aware of for the next major thing that needs to be
Okay.
done, or the next street that's really bad.
And then
Can't work.
past what Rob was able to do, or the borough staff is able to do, HRG is going to fill in the rest of the blanks.
Correct,
Is
yeah,
that correct?
so we're gonna look at the binder essentially.
Perfect.
For the work that's already been done.
Okay.
And try to scope out some additional projects.
Okay.
From there, from the NASCAR readings and take a deeper dive into that.
Okay. 'Cause- okay.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
We have not started to look into that yet. Again, I was out for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, you had a lot going on, right? That's fair.
Sorry.
And the,
Nope.
the other thing, that I'm struggling with is some of the information that they asked for. I can provide them as of June 30th.
Yeah.
With certainty, but not as much certainty in the new software. Struggling to find some of the reports because they're not the same. And the receivables, the aged receivables, was a little bit more frustrating than I had thought because they tried to get that report to break down into the different utilities since we were all in one. But we got them the information until I hear, that they need more. So.
Yeah, I need to follow up with Ryan and Mike on that, to see like what they have, and if there's something there, man, I really wish. But I will reach out to them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else for Dave? Ron?
All right.
Ron? Thank you, Dave.
Yep, no problem.
Thanks, Dave. Glad you're healthy.
When Dave's packing up, I'll finish out here with the Walnut Street project update. I'm sure some of you probably heard all I can say is trees, 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 trees. We had targeted 10 trees after I met with the Shade Tree Commission that were to come down as part of the project. And there was differences from what was on the plan. There was more scheduled to come down on the plans that were than what we agreed to with the Shade Tree Commission. So I went out and marked the trees with big white X's that were to come down, and I met with the contractor and walked it with him and his foreman. And lo and behold, they cut down one tree that was not supposed to come down that wasn't marked. I don't know how they could mistake that, but they did. And until the foreman noticed the guy cutting the tree, because obviously the foreman wasn't doing the cutting, he had notched it so bad it had to come down. It was too late, and it was Kathleen Downs' tree. So she was quite upset. She called me. I went right up, because you have to look and you never, no offense to Kathleen, but I never know when you're getting a phone call. Sometimes owners, residents stretch the truth a little bit. But no, in fact, they took it down.
Stretch the truth a little bit.
So I told the contractor they screwed up, basically, putting it bluntly, and they need to make it right with the homeowner. I don't know what that is, because it's not like you can go out and plant a giant mature tree. The tree probably was, I don't know, 8 inches in diameter, and I don't know what they're gonna do for her. And I just told the foreman yesterday, as of Friday, Margaret and I had been corresponding with Kathleen, and she had not heard from the contractor yet. We gave that contact information, and she reached out. I told the contractor that she'd be reaching out, and she hasn't heard from them. And I told the foreman yesterday to make sure that his boss called her by tomorrow, at least to start the conversation, to see what that make right thing is going to look like, and I have no idea. And then she was asking some questions about tree plantings, and we just mentioned that State Tree Commission is going to do something in fall of 27, is what we already discussed. So once the project's over and done with, we'll come back and replant the trees that we kind of took out. It might not be in the same locations, but so. And then we had another homeowner up there that contacted the mayor, I think a council person, was upset because trees were taken down in front of his house and he didn't get the firewood. And what it really stemmed about, and I'll be blunt, and I told Margaret before he went up, I just knew. But he was basically upset, I think, because the neighbor got a whole bunch of logs and firewood from it, and that neighbor had no trees in front of their house. And but that neighbor asked, because the way it works, they asked the contractor. The way it works, we have a contract with the contractor. to remove trees as part of the project. The trees are designated in the contract. Once the contractor drops the trees, they own the trees because they're on borough property to begin with. They're in the street right of way. Once the contractor owns the trees, it's up to him to determine what he does with them. Whether, I know sometimes when Dincher comes here, they sell the firewood because a lot of times Catilius hires them. They're a tree company. That's what they do. So they sell it for firewood to make profit back on the job. Not all contractors do that. Some of them just haul them away and get rid of them. And that's what these guys, I guess, are trying to do. But if they don't have to haul them away, it's still savings to them. And they gave it to a homeowner, so that inquired. And then this individual was upset because he didn't inquire. But I have to, I did mention in the project letter that was posted to everybody's door, the trees were coming down, and it wasn't kind of anything secret. But I had a nice conversation with the gentleman. In the end, he didn't 100% agree with me, but understood, and he kind of calmed down after a visit here to the office and his conversations with the mayor and Councilman Miller. So I think it's all under the bridge. But
Called me.
oh, so I did my best, and he was unhappy, but I think it's okay. And that's always, been done. That's the way it's handled. CFA project, I'm gonna be honest, we finally did get plans from the engineer. I have preliminary plans back here, and I've been so busy with dealing with contractors and unruly people, and I haven't had a look down yet. So I'm hoping this week to look at those. So I think that's it, unless you guys get questions on projects.
I'm gonna talk about the software conversion then. We have, training lined up for the billing part of it. So we'll have some office closures, the week of council meeting, towards the end, a couple hours here and there. This is for the billing part of it. The first billing, is the September 1st billing that should come from the new system. We have some work to do. We just got access to the training part of it. And we have to go in and check out accounts and make sure that they look okay and different things. Have different account numbers, so that does make it a little bit more difficult to follow things through, but we're working on it. And then I'm gonna jump back up to the top of the agenda, and we'll actually do the rest in order if that's okay. So the Christkindl Market bollards, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yes.
You are.
Bollocks.
I'm gonna pass these around. I did email you what Matt had sent out, but I have it here in front for Matt to cover and.
Okay, you want me to talk about it then?
There's copies coming, if that'll help.
I mean, I could pull it up too. Thank you for. It was discussed with the Christkindl Market Board. Actually, Jason Mitchell brought the idea to me, and I shared it with the board. We kind of talked about it for a couple of years. An alternative to having, right now, we have the, what do they call those things? I call them cattle chutes.
Jersey barrier.
Thank you. Jersey barriers that we bring in. We rent them, they're brought in, and we drop them, and then they have to be filled with water. We've had problems the last 2 years, I think, with leaking barriers, and then the water runs out, and then it freezes, and then it becomes a safety issue. So what's put in to help with safety becomes a safety issue in itself. But they do generally work pretty well. So Jason and I talked about the idea of putting in mowers that will drop into the ground. They're very similar to what you have down at the rail trail crossings.
Oh, okay.
They drop in and they have handles on them, and then they can be pulled out when people need to get in, and then drop back in when it's time to open the market and
no more vehicles are coming in. The advantage to that is it's a much more attractive situation. It's easier to drop them in. All you need 2 people to lift them out and put them back in. And you don't have to have borough crew members be there to drop the concrete barriers. We use concrete and the jersey barriers. And on Saturday, when we close the market, there's no need to bring borough crew in. We pull them out, we lay them on the side and then put the caps back on. The construction, the cap, I guess what you call the hole, and the cap is very similar to what is used for the water valves, I guess. So that, and you see, I'm not gonna read all that to you, you see the reasons there for that. What's nice about it is they can be pulled out in the morning when vendors need to come in, and then vendors, unload their supplies for the day and they leave, and then they can be easily brought back in. Again, not involving any, it's less hassle to do that.
I like in that it's heavy enough that citizens aren't just gonna be whipping them out and, you know what I mean?
No.
When we did the cones and stuff like that, we had people like, oh, no, I'm just gonna
They
drive through
just-
the market.
Yeah, yeah, it's, well,
This
the
will
idea
happen.
is they're heavy, because I think the tubes are gonna be filled with concrete, I think
Yeah.
that's what's in the spec. And Jason said, heavy enough that you need 2 people to
Yeah.
pull them out. One person isn't gonna come along.
I think before the next meeting, Tracy and I can sit down with Jason and find out what they're made of, and,
Well, is the spec sheet there?
Yep.
It's in the back, Dave.
It's-
Does it have the gauge of the pipe and all that?
I don't think he has the gauge, so it's-
No.
that's probably a detail, you wanna check.
Yeah,
with.
I mean, I trust Jason to.
Yeah.
The only.
I mean, and according to his words, if anybody tries to ram those things, they're gonna be hurting. So, anyway.
And I'd like to see the exact locations too. I know a couple years ago we went out and put dots on, but those are long gone. And just.
Yeah, the map, yeah, the exact locations, but the map just kind of shows where the intersections are, but doesn't.
I think he was just looking at using plastic for the,
For the pipe?
yeah.
Oh, and then there should be rebar. in it.
Filled with concrete.
It's gonna be filled with concrete.
How are the handles getting welded on if it's plastic?
I thought they were just gonna drill holes. Maybe he
I
was
thought
talking
they-
metal, cause
I
metal.
thought they were
Up
metal
here.
pipes.
Number 1 said caps with handles welded.
I'm telling you, if that's plastic or filled with concrete, and you hit it with a car, it's gonna snap right off. It'll shear right into the
Well,
road.
you can check with
Yeah.
Jason.
And then just, so you don't compare them to the rail trail ones, those are just a piece of metal that sticks out of the ground a little bit, and then a hollow thing that sits on.
Yeah.
So we've had people drive over it.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's the general concept of
Yeah.
the,
Yeah,
the down
the
in the
appearance
ground.
is what
It's
it's
a
gonna
post.
look at, but yeah, these will
Gotcha.
be
Okay.
substantial.
So
According to
I
Jason,
think you would
heavy
need a-
enough that they,
You would need a metal pipe with a fairly thick
Right.
wall.
So is this a budget ask then, Matt, or is it you guys will cover
no,
the
this
cost,
is
you just need
approval to do this. Cotillius Excavating would do the work. Yeah, we have the money between us, and it'll be a shared project with the Bug Museum and MHRA.
And are you intending for it to happen before this year's market?
It depends on Cotillius Excavating, and if it's possible with whatever borough stuff is going on in that area.
And I'll talk to Jason too, with regard to if he's comfortable with this, will be a good, long-lasting, won't cause any damage or anything. You know what I mean?
He didn't think so, because I asked him about snowplows,
Freeze thaw and all that.
and he said it wouldn't be any different than any of the water
Going right over.
valves.
Yeah.
that
They're
are-
planning on using the valve boxes, so in the off-season, it would just have a valve box cover.
And a little plate over it.
Yeah, it's just a sealed box, it's, you don't say water, you know, which is a water valve, then you take that out, and then this whole concrete pipe it'd be sleeved down in there, would slide down in there.
And that'll take on water, that's not sealed off from water.
No, there's just stone in the bottom. Those valve boxes, it's just a bigger pipe.
It just drains out the bottom.
It just, yeah, there's just stone in the, they just bury them in stone, you know, in the ground. And if it's, I think they're 3 feet deep. Yeah, you
And I don't think we ever have too much of a freeze, but I'd hate to see you go to put it in there and there's a big ice jam in there.
These are 26.
But it wouldn't, yeah. Well, we'll talk to Jason.
Where do you see welded handles at, Trace?
The very top sentence on it.
Page 2, number 1, materials required.
With cap handles welded.
Well, then maybe it's bigger metal pipe. I thought you said plastic.
So anyhow, that's something that we can maybe put on the agenda for a vote then for, I guess it's our streets, that's why council has to
Right.
consider it.
That's why I presented it. And yes, we'd like to do it yet this fall, if possible. If not, then it's something for 2027.
All right, I'm gonna try to keep us moving, we're pushing
Yep.
9. Budget request, or 27 budget calendar and discussion. Here is the, to be passed around, here is the, budget calendar. This is something that, is, this sort of outline in the schedule is recommended by DCED in there, and we've
Is this the
adopted it.
same one you sent out on email?
Did I send it out? Oh, you're on finance, so yes, finance already
Okay.
saw this, sorry.
Yeah, I don't need more paper. Well, you
And
got
then-
more on here then.
I also included a copy of the memo that we send out to folks and the list of who we send it out to. We used to send it out to a few more, and we were kind of told not to recently. So we used to send it to like Little League and like the Haney Park Association and a few others before. And those people stopped responding with any kind of request, so we just left them off. I'm happy to send it to others if you think there are others that should have it.
You put it on the website.
Pardon?
You put it on the website.
The budget request?
Yeah. See what happens. So we have like, I think we had $10,000 for like community support type projects, and I don't think we ever hit it. I'm curious what all is out
The
there.
donation stuff, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, sure. And if people request, then we know where the need is. Otherwise, it's really hard throughout the year, like every single time. So if we put it on the website and Dave shares it or I share it or whatever.
We'll put it on the website. I missed your very first comment.
Yeah, sorry, put it on the website is what I said. Because I Little League makes sense. Some of those other like strategic partners make sense. But I think if you do a targeted outreach and the key threshold is like 501c3, you're always going to get, or you're in particular, it's going to end up on your desk like, why didn't you ask me? You know, that kind of thing. If you put it on the website, you don't have to deal with that.
Right, I'll put something together.
Yeah,
In borough 501c3.
sure. Or does business in the borough, whatever. And then the elected officials can say no. We can say no in the fall. We can say yes in the fall, but it keeps it off your desk later on.
Sure. Okay. Anything else under that tab? The MMOs fall under that, the pension minimum municipal obligations. I've sent the information. I have to make wage estimates for the rest of the year and wage estimates for next year that I send to them that they use to do the calculations for the minimum municipal obligations. By law, you have to, if you want Act 205 funding, which we do want that, then you have to adopt it at your September council meeting. So I sent the stuff out. We should have it back before the September council meeting. We're one of many that they do. So
Audit, Margaret, for 2025, will we get that somewhere in Q4 or do we not know
I hope
yet?
in Q4, I'm the holdup.
Okay.
I have been very overwhelmed.
Okay.
All this additional stuff on top of the normal, I just can't find a few hours together to concentrate, to put things together.
Okay.
And it'll take a week or more for me to get things together. And it's just, also on my list, I think I got all of the pension information to the state pension auditor.
The pension auditor, yeah.
It's 4 years worth of stuff. I think I finally sent all of that to her. I got the stuff for the CIP to them, the stuff that I could, because they have more work to do and I don't wanna hold them up. So I need some uninterrupted time, and I'm having a hard time finding it with the conversion and everything, so that definitely needs to be done. My hope is still to have it in Q4. Anything else? Donation of abandoned bicycles.
Real quick, there's a pile of bikes in the basement. Resolution 99 from 2000, I guess it'd be number 4 from 2009 or 1999. Council passed a resolution that any abandoned or unclaimed bicycles that were in our possession for more than 90 days can be donated to a charitable organization. There's 10 bikes and a scooter down there between April 3rd of 2023 and July of 2025 that I want to get rid of. I reached out to Vince with the Borough Crew. I know a couple years ago he took them, and their youth pastor and the church fixed the bikes up and gave them to needy kids. So he's checking to see if the youth pastor wants them. If not, I'll check with the bike shops. I know before they took them, they repaired them and gave them to needy kids. So just gonna ask that at the council meeting, you guys allow me to get rid of bikes we have down there that we've had for almost 2 years.
We've given some too in the past too, I think.
Probation, juvenile probation has picked them up and had kids help repair them, and
About like women in transition, are there kids there or not? Or even the,
They're not all kids' bikes, I mean, we.
most
have-
of them are
are little-
mountain bikes, bigger
Oh.
bikes.
okay.
Yeah, we had somebody once from probation that was looking for one because their spouse needed a way to
Yeah.
ride to work.
They need transportation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just trying to free up some room in the basement. They've been down there a while.
Anything else?
No.
Lance.
This one's mine. So SU, Bucknell has this too. Probably most of the universities have like a community engagement liaison person. He reached out to me about other stuff, not even local government things. But it's basically an English student. It's an upperclassman, and they're looking to do writing. So I told them yes. I told them yes on behalf of myself because I have plenty of things across different like research and writing projects. I can keep the person busy for a semester. There's some amount of work in terms of coordinating with a student, but if the borough has projects, whether that is writing a website thing, like all those little kind of things, I bet there are a lot of them that end up on your desk in particular, Margaret. This is a resource that we can use, and it is free to the borough, other than there's time and liaison back and forth, and you're gonna need to like check their work. So that offer goes out to borough staff. If it's like grant writing type things, like there was a couple iterations we just had to do on the PennVest thing. I'd imagine there will be potentially a few more grant applications in the fall. It can be used by like MIF CPAP, or if any of the elected officials, if you just have like, hey, this ordinance, I would love to see it written a different way. This is a resource that they're trying to get out in the community. So I have the contact, let me know, and I'll probably, unless you say no, like there's some coordination costs, like I said, but Margaret, unless you say no, I will probably plan to connect you with the SU like faculty advisor person. So if there are things you need, you can use this person this fall. Questions?
Is there a commitment that we have to say, we'll use you for X number of hours?
No, I'll cover that. I have enough stuff that I can keep the person busy. But I know there are things that I like. I know there are things I don't know about that everyone else in the room is working on too. And to the extent that this resource is available, it's just a good person to have in Mifflinburg. So
Speaking of website things that come up, I received an email today. I made sure I copied you on the notice. The tax assessment office is starting this week to do the real estate tax assessments in the borough. We got no skin in the game, but I did put it on the website. with the contact information and told people that if they had questions, to contact either the county or the phone number that was listed above. They provided a website, hopefully all that, you know, I asked Tina to get that on the website. And I wanted you guys to know.
If I can figure out a way to make a post on the police department page, I will, that I can shut the comments off, because even something simple as that is gonna turn into, you know, people bitching about wanting more money for taxes and.
It has really nothing to do with us at this point. I mean, it could someday, but as of right now, it's just the
So there-
county's project.
So I can tell you, right, there is a back way to do that, kind of.
Anyway.
That's why I keep it to just dogs.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, so did the little dog go home?
yes. Oh, the little bitty one? I don't think so. Was it?
Matt called me Sunday night, because he was gonna try to get a hold of Tracy Balin. You talking about the carrier, the Jack
Mhm.
Russell one?
Yeah.
I
I'm not
think-
sure
yeah, I
if
think
Tracy
that
Baylor
one-
took it or not.
No, I think that went back with the owner. One
Oh,
was-
yes, yeah, you're right.
Good.
Tracy Baylor was, she might have been familiar with the dog, because she helped him track down the owner that night. Ended up being someone down 45.
I have been confused because I get, like, in addition to the ones for the police department, other people are posting something.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, because like, we had 3 calls today one from Harvey Winter, one
Yeah.
from Tyson Road, wanting to know if we found a dog that ran loose today. Didn't make it to Mifflinburg yet.
So that was everything that was on the agenda. Does anybody have anything else under other items?
Motion to go to ice cream?
Thanks for your patience.